At 7.
Here we go.
You were tired.
7:19.
Can somebody check and make sure we're moving?
What? What, Amanda?
Can you check on the site and see if we're if we're good? Because I think we're live. I think we are.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am still working on it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, we seem to. Well,
we are working.
Yep.
We're running behind this morning, so I'm just trying to. I am still working on it. Good morning. Oh,
everybody.
there we go. There we go.
Very good.
Okay, so I have one. Hey, okay, this will not focus. Thank you, sir.
She's like, yes.
May I borrow you, sir? I'm having struggles. It will not focus. To save.
Volume, Elise.
Steve?
Good morning, everybody.
Steve?
For live, we
Steve,
like.
help, Steve,
yeah.
help.
I can see everything.
Oh, good. Is
Yeah.
it blurry? Are you and Tori blurry?
A little bit.
See, that's what I'm working on.
I look really tan too.
She's like, I look good. Hey.
Yeah, buddy.
TikTok offered me some tanning gummies today. This
Tanning
morning. I'm very
gummies.
intrigued by those. I want those.
Tanning gummy.
Because, I need to tan.
Okay.
Oh,
This
let's not
camera is
bark.
blurry. Thank you, sir.
My dog is used to being raised
Thank
by a
you,
woman
sir.
and
Good
mostly being
morning.
around women, and he barks at men.
And that because you came down here and touched the controller. And
Way to fix it.
Yay!
Can we fix it?
came
Yes,
down and-
Steve can.
Yay!
Steve can do it.
He came down here and it just magically fixed. He didn't even touch anything.
Look at him go.
See, it's blurry again. See, I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Now, I have YouTube and Facebook on my phone.
Oh, good. And
Okay.
we're good?
I can watch both of them.
Okay.
It looks okay, but of course,
Right. No. Oh,
I don't
wait.
trust my
There we go. There it is. Let's hope it stays that way.
Yay! So what are we talking about today? What was our subject?
I think I added in Tori's trip.
I'm gonna
You wanna
hold
wait
that
on
off
that?
till Monday.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can wait on that. I said we're going to talk Tori's trip and then everything under the sun.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we wrote some notes yesterday.
We did.
I
Where's
am gonna bring some wine on Monday.
Here's
Okay.
my notes.
Yeah, because you sent that yesterday right after I had finished my box of Wheat Thins, and I was like, I ain't going out.
no,
it's cold.
it's-
She said, I'm not going out. I'm not leaving.
It's cold.
I think Monday. I think Monday's okay. Because I like the idea of, and I don't know, maybe it's not okay, but
Thanks, boss.
I wanted to drink wine and talk about sobriety.
Thanks, tech support.
I don't have a problem with that.
Tech support
You
fixed
know,
it.
I mean,
I did get my cup right today.
there is.
This is probably whiskey.
That's funny.
It is not. It is water.
He's all gone.
Because there's a lot to that, not
Cash.
sobriety is not the same for everybody.
No, it's not.
Absolutely.
We had a long conversation about this yesterday.
Yeah, and I think it's important to talk about because that was what this show was started on was to talk about sobriety, addiction,
yes.
and mental health and
Self-love.
and self-love, and it's coming into deep into the holiday season now, and that's when there are an awful lot of people that are
Yes.
dealing with that, and it's really easy to very quickly get upset about something and take it personal.
I find myself feeling lonelier.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to decorate my tree. Who's going to see it?
Right.
Like, there's little.
You're going to
there's-
send me a picture and I'm going to see it.
Well, you can stop by.
I'll stop by. I still need to bring my kids over so you can bring down your stuff.
Yeah, your kids are going to have to come.
I was
help
going to
me
say,
get
you
it
need
down.
to tell me
Yeah.
when you want that.
My tree is actually in my
Oh,
garage.
look at you. This is why you're not adulting today.
What the hell?
She can't figure out her phone.
It's just taking pictures instead of turning the volume off. Like, stop taking pictures.
Stop.
I don't
my
even know how
tree-
that happens. Sorry.
That's AI.
My tree is actually in my garage, so I can get it, but all my other
Oh, yeah.
totes
You
are
just tell
upstairs.
me.
Yeah.
You tell
But-
me and I will.
But yeah, like the holidays are hard for me. I'm it's like just now, mind you, my sister that's on my dad's side. She always has Thanksgiving and invites me there, but I end up going to my mom's boyfriend's usually. Why is
Well, and
but like they all are coupled off.
Right.
I'm alone.
It reminds you.
It's hard.
It's a reminder that
yes.
Greta has a dog.
Yeah. Greta and Cash will be coming, not Greta and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
You know
not
what?
Greta and Bo, but
For
Yeah.
Christmas, you come hang at my house. My brother will be there. He's single, so you won't be the only
I
single
won't
person.
be the only single person.
Right.
I won't be the third wheel,
how
fifth
old's your
wheel.
brother?
40.
Do you like him younger?
I do, unfortunately.
There you
yeah.
go.
I got some
you
cougar.
know.
I got some cougar claws.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
you know,
a
he
whole
likes-
story. We need to do a story about
Yeah.
that. Y'all have been married for like 20 years and shit,
Yeah.
right? Pretty
20
close? Or you've been together for close to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I straight up became a cougar when I got divorced and was on my own and single. I did not want to get married. I did not. I had the attitude if you came to my house with more than a morning toothbrush, you could get the F out of my house. Do not come. Do not stay here. I've been married, been divorced. Went
I just
through,
keep extra toothbrushes. Don't bring yours. I
yeah,
got.
there
I got
you
a
go.
drawer
That
got
was a
some-
better
Yeah,
way.
don't bring
I
yours. I
actually
have
did do
more.
that.
Yeah.
I actually did do that. I went and bought one of those packs of like
Yeah.
20 from
Yeah, 'cause-
Costco or something,
yeah.
and I just left them in the drawer.
would.
I was bad. I went through a really bad phase.
But now-
I had kids at 18, and there was a lot of things that happened in between, and after the last one. And I've been through domestic violence. I've been through, which I have a book I'm writing about that. It's called Battered to Blue.
I was going to say, I've been super lucky enough to not have to go through any type of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I have a bunch of friends that have, and you don't understand until you've been through it.
Right.
But I've been the friend that they've talked to. And they've confided in, and, I have helped them through things. And
Yeah.
I feel like I can.
That's also a hard position
It is because I don't know.
because you're like, what's wrong with you? Like, leave. Why are you sticking? Now, I have to say, as far
that's a
as
lot too of trying
mine
to
goes,
leave.
and that's
The
part of
mind
the
is-
mental health part of our
Yes.
our stuff.
But
mind goes
typically, I mean, they're narcissists, so they control your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those of us that aren't in that relationship, we can say leave.
Right.
The outsider.
not
It's
that
always
easy.
easier for the outsider
Yeah,
to see
It's
it.
so much
but
easier for an
that
outsider.
person's mind is being manipulated.
and broken.
Well, and that's why my book is called Battered to Blue, because it's not about the bruises. I became a cop, battered into the blue uniform, and I chose not to be a victim. I was a victor, and I used to do public engagement speaking. I did a lot of public speaking.
Did you get that?
About what'd you say?
You said you were a victor. I said,
Victor. Yeah, with a K.
With the game.
But I used to do a lot of public speaking about domestic violence, and it was really funny because I did a lot of, kind of like little skit plays up on the stage with people, like, what do you consider domestic violence? Because what some people think is domestic violence is you have to physically, he's got to punch her in the face and knock her
Absolutely
down.
not.
No.
And absolutely not.
And that's part of it. But
That is part of it.
There's
the
an
manipulation.
emotional.
There's emotional,
Yes.
there's verbal, there's you can break somebody down so low that they have zero self-esteem, zero ability to defend themselves emotionally, sexually, physically. They can't do anything because they have been broken down so bad. And there's some people that go, oh, you can't rape in a marriage. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
you can.
Yeah, you
No
can.
means
If you
no.
do something against somebody's will, it's whatever it is. And it doesn't matter if it's, we had a joke yesterday. Shut up and make me a sandwich.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I laughed and said, if he said that to me, I'd make him a sandwich. Because he would never say that to me.
Right.
Right.
Like he would
Or if
never
he was,
tell
it
me
would be joking.
if he did,
Exactly.
it would be complete
Exactly.
sarcasm. Because
Yeah.
that's how it
All
came
the-
up. Because
yes.
I was
Like-
making a sandwich for my mom and I for dinner. Because I asked her, what do you want? And she said, I don't know. And she said, if you want me, honestly, what I really, really want is your avocado, lettuce, tomato sandwich. And I said, oh, okay, I can do that.
Done.
Easy.
Yeah.
So Steve and I went to the store and got what we needed. So I came back and I have everything out. and I bought croissants instead of regular
Look at this
bread.
traitor.
I quit rubbing his head. I quit rubbing his head.
He was staring at
Oh.
me while you were rubbing
Yeah.
his head. I was like, oh, he's coming. He's a
But
traitor.
I bought croissants instead of regular bread, and then I was getting everything out and starting to make it. And I was saying something, and Steve says, "Shut up and make a sandwich." And I said, "Okay." You know, so that's where the joke started,
Right,
Because I
right.
know he would never say that to me in a serious way.
exactly.
You know, I remember.
If he says it in a serious way, we're going to throw him in.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
My answer to that question was to be determined.
So yeah, it was right. When she meets what's your brother's name?
Jake.
Okay, when you
Jake.
meet Jake, but so
Oh, he
like,
likes to cook. By the way.
Oh, I like to
Oh,
cook.
Okay,
okay.
good.
Yes.
So you both can do that.
Yeah.
so when I was married many moons ago to my ex-husband, we were at a party, and it was a bunch of Marines and their wives, and it was seriousness, but they were being assholes. And one of them told his wife, "Go get me a beer, bitch."
Was it one of the balls or
Oh no, it was just
just an event?
hanging out at their
Okay.
house, somebody's house. And his wife went and got him a beer. And I was watching the dynamics, and she was very timid and very fearful.
Like a
She was
beat down
scared.
dog.
So yeah, she looked like a beat down dog. So I knew she was doing what she was told to do.
Right.
And then several of the other husbands said it to their wives too, and they went and got him a beer. So my husband
Not the
thought it
one.
would be
It wasn't, hey, while you're up. It was,
And so my husband
Demanding.
thought it would be really, apropos for him to jump on the board that fucking train.
Get
Not the one, man. Not the one.
And he
Not that
said,
train.
"Go get me a beer, bitch."
Get your own fucking beer.
And I didn't take it like joking. I took it like I want to be one of the guys. And they all did it, and they all got away with it, and their wives all complied and did what they were told. I did not take it that way. I took it like, "Excuse me, you said what?"
yeah.
Homeboy says, "What?"
Try that again. I'm going to give you one chance.
So
to
I
try
did.
again.
Would you like to rephrase?
I went
this?
in the kitchen, got the beer out of the fridge. I shook that motherfucker up so hard. I walked in and I handed it to him. Here's your beer. And he opened it and all over him. I said, "That'll teach you. Get your own fucking beer, bitch." And we had some words over it. You don't talk to me like that.
No.
Now it sounds hypocritical though, because Steve last night said, "Shut up and make sandwich." But I knew 100% he was joking.
It was the tone. It's a lot of the tone.
Exactly.
And body language.
And he
Yes.
wasn't doing it to follow someone else. Like, "Oh, they did it. It worked for them. I'm going to..."
He just said, and no, it wasn't the current husband.
Yeah.
No, not this husband. This one is great.
It was not Steve. But I mean, like, I especially don't like when somebody starts jumping on a wagon because other dudes are doing it too. Disrespecting your wife because you watched other men disrespect their wives and you
Right.
think it's okay.
Yeah.
And because
Absolutely
now
not.
you're in a crowd, a group of people, like, she's going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other wives, I will tell you, I knew exactly that girl was being beaten because all the other wives started laughing and said, "I should have shook yours up too." She ran and got cleaning stuff and just started on her hands and knees scrubbing it up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I may have just
Holy
caused
shit.
her to get hit that night, And I mean, I was young. I was 18, but I'm an alpha female. I have always been that way. I'm probably never going to be anything different. I'm a strong alpha female. So even though I went through domestic violence, it didn't last long. I wasn't the girl who stuck around for indefinite amount of time. I put him in jail. I put him in prison. I did not stand for it. So when I was a cop and I would go to DV calls and the women would, you separate them. You talk to one. I think I went to one domestic violence by myself. You always call for backup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think I went to
more
one.
officers are injured. I don't know. I've never read this as a statistical fact, but I think I've heard it. So I don't. I mean, it didn't sing. But more injured in domestic violence, like the officer shows up than anything else.
That's why we don't. I mean, even if you're called to one, like you wait for the backup because they can switch really quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
And I have a great story on that one. It really ties into this right here, but
Steve said, and no, it wasn't current husband.
Yeah.
but
Oh, my mom said, "Oh hell no."
yeah, exactly.
That's my mom. She's alpha female.
Yeah, but I mean, like you see the different things, and I would go to these calls, and they'd be like, "But you don't understand," and I'd be like, "Actually, I do understand," and I know right now it seems really scary to walk away from this or go get help, or there's shelters, there's people. I'm sure you even have people that you could talk to or friends that you could get the help from. But what you're terrified of is him. You're terrified that he's going to escalate. And you think in the back of your mind that if I just help him and don't let him get in trouble, he'll love me more for that.
And it's your home.
And it'll be less
It's your
trouble.
It's your home. It's your safe place. So it's easier to cower down than to stand up because you want peace in your home.
And because of unknown, like where am I going to go? Where am I going to live? Especially if you have kids. What do I do now?
Yeah.
So all the unknowns are scary, almost scarier than the beatdown.
Yes.
When I was like 7.5 years old, I remember
Your
my mom-
husband beat you? That's so
Yeah,
bad.
that's separate.
I remember
this an
my
arranged
mom
marriage?
waking me
You should have known better, Alicia. You were 7.
She was like, "I'm leaving." And we were like, "No, you're not. We're going with you." So I remember my sister and I packing our little Trolls backpacks on wheels.
Oh, how cute.
And we were going to leave with my mom in the middle of the night. And my dad came out completely schmammered and was like, "You're not leaving." And I remember him taking my mom and throwing her on the floor on her hands and knees, sitting on her hips and beating the shit out of her. And I went and called the cops and then got my dad arrested, of course.
Yes,
and then my mom took us to her friend's house, and we stayed with her friend while she went to the hospital. Her jaw wasn't broken, but it looked like it was, and her whole face was all swollen and bloody. But she said had my sister and I not seen it, she never would have actually left.
And that's the thing is there's so many people that live under the hidden the hidden cloak of everything is
They cover it
beautiful
with
and fine.
makeup. I had a friend that I knew she was getting abused. I had seen the bruises and whatever that she was covering with makeup out in public. Not luckily, but she worked at the funeral home, so she was using makeup from.
So she really knew how to cover.
She was using makeup from the funeral home, which is made to cover bruises.
Right. I was gonna say I know nothing about makeup, so if I was getting beat,
Ask
I
Amber
would see
Heard.
it.
I heard she knows how to do that.
I showed up. I showed up at her house one Saturday and said, "Pack a bag. You're coming with me."
Well,
And I brought her to my house, and he showed up on my doorstep, and I was in my house, and I was like, "No, sir, you're not coming
And
in.
honestly-
I will call the cops."
I'll throw hands
And
with you.
I can't say that I saved her because he had gotten her hooked on drugs really bad. I watched her go through through total laying on my floor, shivering, shaking, detox and all that. But she ended up getting on a worse drug than what she was on.
Yeah.
And her life has just went downhill from. She spent time in prison. She does not have custody of her child.
Right.
Like,
Well, it's a fine line between victim and turning into something completely different.
I tried,
you know.
and I think I beat myself up for that. I'm like, did I save her or not? Like,
Well, it's a hard question.
It's a hard situation to be in.
yeah.
Exactly. Like you were talking about the with cops and being dangerous for them. So I was at a call one time, and it was a husband and wife, and he had hit her. She had hit him too. A few other things, and it was a really sad one. I mean, to be honest with you, it was a really sad one. Like the guy was in a position I probably would have hit her. You know, that's a hard one to say. Like domestic violence is not just one-sided.
No,
Right.
I'd have hit her. I'd have knocked that bitch on the ground. She was
provoking.
she was a loudmouth
Antagonizing.
piece of shit, and I was one of the police officers called to the house. And
Men can be abused too.
I was just about to say that.
right.
It's not
Men
just
can
women.
be
Do you
abused.
remember the
Johnny
whole
Depp
Johnny Depp
just went
thing?
through.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just went
That's
through
why
all
I was
that.
saying Amber
Yeah.
Heard has the makeup to know how to cover fake bruises or to
Or
make
make fake
bruises. So, and she was an actress. Like they don't know how to make themselves look a
Yeah.
certain way.
I know.
So I went to the
I'm
call.
pretty sure you could figure that out on TikTok because they tell me all these other makeup tricks. I'm pretty sure they
you
tell
can
me that
figure
if
out
I
how to
Googled
make
it.
bruises.
Yeah.
But I went to the call and I had a partner with me, and came in. Oh my God, the house was so filthy. It was so dirty and so disgusting. Just piles of dishes, dried on food, dirty diapers on the floor. Just, it was a disgusting mess. Nice house, not a bad house.
Right.
The guy was in very apparent work clothes with jeans and grease, and he was very dirty, like he had been at work all day. And she was in sweatpants, fat, food on her shirt, a blanket and pillow on. I mean, like, I remember the whole scene, a blanket and pillow on the couch. And one of the kids was clean. The other two were still dirty. And one was in a diaper. And she must have called the cops fairly quickly. So we take him aside to ask him what was going on. And I take him aside and he said, I hit her. He said, I'm sorry. He said, I deserve it. Take me to jail. I hit her. I should never have hit her. He's like, but I guess I hit my limit. And I came home. The kids were filthy. The house was filthy. No dinner for the kids. You could see that they had some breakfast of some sort this morning of Cheerios, no milk, and it was just all over the place. My baby is in diapers, shit running down its leg. And he's like, that's why the other one's diaper's still on, because I only got that one bathed. He's like, I came in, I dropped my lunchbox. I'm filthy. And I said, could you at least get up and give the kids a bath? And she said, I'm watching my show. Why don't you go fucking do it, you worthless piece of shit?
Oh, he's going to throw up. It's okay. It sounds horrible, but we're used to this. It's okay. And then I'll clean it up.
But
he's done it since a baby. It terrified me at the beginning.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
So does he have like a reflex issue or something?
He won't ever do it at the doctor's office, of course, at the vet's office. So we
Never
don't know.
happens at the right time.
No, it's very random, but he's okay.
So anyway, he said when
You're
she said that to me, he said,
Come
"Why
here.
don't you come say that to my face?"
Come
And
here.
she got up and said, "You are a piece of shit, and I ain't doing nothing for you, and I don't give a fuck about these kids. I'm watching my show, and when I'm done, maybe I'll do something. But why don't you just go do it?" And he said, I went whack, and I clocked her.
I would have done it.
And he's
to be
like,
honest.
Yeah.
he's like,
I would have thrown hands too.
he's like, so I'm sorry. Take me to jail. I deserve to go to jail. I was like, okay, I hate to tell you this, but even though I am actually on your side, I have to take you to jail. You know, and I'm sorry. I said, but what I will do is I will write a detailed report about what I've
All of
witnessed
this.
here. And hopefully you could, I said, honestly, dude, you should leave. Like, you could pay someone to take better care of your kids.
Yeah.
She's probably eating you out of money.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
The amount of money you probably save on her food
Yeah.
would pay for your sitter.
Yeah. I was going to say, he has a job.
Yeah.
She didn't have a job?
He had a really good job. And it was a nice house. Like,
Yeah. He's the one
Cash.
that's financially stable,
Exactly,
right? So he would
exactly.
most likely get custody of the kids.
Most likely. And that's the sad part, is quite often the woman gets the custody of the kids. Well,
Yes.
here's the best part of the story is I tell my partner, stay with her. I had already told him, stay with her. And we had signals when you're at a call, And if you have, especially for domestic violence, because it is one of the worst, they can turn the opposite direction so quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you do a 1,
They're very light switch quick.
if you put a finger up, I'm putting him in cuffs. So like, get prepared. I'm going to put him in handcuffs. So I put a 1 up and I said, I need you to turn around and put your hands behind your back. And she saw him turn around with his hands behind his back. And oh my God, that fat girl can move. Let me tell you, I did not think that lady could move in the way that she went, but she sprinted across the house over the
Trash.
no, yeah, over the trash in the house, but over the
table,
Coffee table.
ottoman,
Coffee
no,
table.
the thing that's in the middle of a kitchen.
island.
Yeah,
Island.
she jumped over the fucking island. I think she hit the island and jumped over it, grabbed a butcher knife on her way through.
Oh my gosh.
And she's full arms up in the air, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Like in the cartoons where they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
flying and
Oh yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah. But
At him
At
or
him
you?
or you?
See that?
well, I thought it was at him, but it was at me.
Because you were taking her breadwinner.
Because I was
Her money
exactly.
maker,
I was
yeah.
taking her money maker, and so I took him
Sucks to
down.
suck.
I took him down, and I'm rolling on the ground, and I'm shoving him underneath the kitchen table, and she's stabbing. I'm gonna fucking kill. I mean, she's like going for it, and luckily,
she is mad at
because
you.
we're moving. She never made contact, and of course, the officer I had with me was not a rookie, but he was new, and he finally got over there, and he's trying to get control of her, and I finally get out from underneath, and I draw my weapon, and I'm like, put it down, or I'm gonna put a bullet in your head,
Keep going, bitch. I'd love to
because
shoot
she's
you.
already
Right.
I mean, that's considered
Insult-
attempted
That,
murder.
yeah.
That's not assault.
It
It's-
would have been self-defense for you.
Exactly, because she was going for it, and didn't have to shoot her. Got her in handcuffs. That report became a whole different report because
Right.
at that point, I then have to call a whole nother set of officers and my sergeant in because now I'm a victim,
Yep.
And you've pulled your weapon.
and I pulled my weapon, so I have to bring somebody else in. Luckily, I had enough fortitude not to shoot her. I really wanted to
I
shoot
was gonna
her.
say I would not have had the patience to not shoot
I
her.
really wanted to shoot her, but I didn't. So I mean, for that, it came out well. And most of the time, I will say, when you have calls, very rarely do you follow up on them because, like, sometimes I just don't want to know. Same thing with when I was a medic. I did not
Yeah, don't
follow
tell
up
me.
on my calls because, one, if you got them there and they were still breathing, I didn't want to
did your
know they
job.
died later. You
Yeah.
know, I rarely did I ever follow up on
not
calls.
doing that.
Now, I did have to testify in court on this one,
Oh, I bet.
but I followed up and I wanted to keep track of what was going on. She got prison time she got charged with, they actually charged her with neglect, child endangerment, attempted murder on a police officer, assault of a police officer, and I can't remember. There was something. She didn't get a domestic charge against her husband because he was technically the one that hit her. And she was, of course, claiming that he hit her all the time.
Yeah.
No bitch that talks to him like that gets hit all the time.
Right.
No.
Like you
No.
said about the other lady, like they're going to
They
cower.
cower. They cower. They don't poke the bear.
No.
No, it doesn't happen. So needless to say, in the end, he got custody of the kids.
Oh, good.
She got prison time, and he did get divorced. So, and he was really hot
out.
too. He was really hot. He was a good
Hey.
look. He wasn't going to have any trouble finding another girl. Because I don't know about y'all, but man, seeing a man dirty, sweaty, and sexy
I say all the time, I'm like,
jeans
I need a
working.
man that gets his muscles from working, not a gym.
Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I like when my husband's out
not a
working and he's
necessity,
sweating
but-
from working. I'm like, that's so sexy. And they go like, I'm dirty. I'm not. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's really good.
my husband when he's-
I agree. Like that to me, that like I'm like,
Yep. No, when my husband's out in the gym hitting the bag, it's hot, but don't touch me. He looks hot. It looks great. He's sexy. Don't
Yeah,
touch me.
now I
You're
will
all
tell you
sweaty.
though, I am not the girl who comes in and says, rub that shit on me.
No. No.
That is only
so
in
gross.
movies and books, ladies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
No, I'm like, yeah, you rub that on me after you go take
Every
a shower.
You shower first, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no. So anyway, that that's the whole premise of starting this show in the first place was so women could talk about these different things. Like, domestic violence can lead to different things. It can lead to empowerment, like it did for me. I became empowered. I did not let it take me down. But for some women, it doesn't go that direction.
Amanda has disappeared because Cash has decided to be her friend. In case anyone wonders where the producer went,
Yeah.
she was bent over completely behind the desk.
Yeah, we couldn't see you. You were gone.
I'm sorry. She's like my friend.
She's like, well, Mr. Cash is here,
He
so
was looking for some. Oh no, I'm not down for kisses, but thanks.
So, do you need a COVID test though? I can give you one of those also.
yeah, he's
Wanna get down?
he's like, I can go all the way down there.
Yeah,
There's not enough room over here.
pretty sure his tongue goes further sometimes than the actual COVID test that I got in life.
Yeah. He likes the toys though.
He loves those.
It keeps him entertained. He's like, the only one I actually care about is my bear.
I understand. Yes,
That's the only
After
one I
we
care
saw the
about.
tag on that, it said Toys R Us, so it is a yeah.
Vintage.
Yeah, it's vintage. Yeah, there's no Toys R Us's anymore.
Nope.
But that was the whole reason I started this, is so that we can talk about things. And if one person listening at some point in time hears us talk about our own experiences and what we've been through, whether it be, I don't have an issue with addiction. I'm not, I've never been that way. No. Like I used to smoke a long time ago, and I quit on a bet. The guys I worked with were like, "Oh, I bet you can't quit." I'm like, "I can." They're like, "Okay,
Challenge accepted.
Bet you $100.
Yeah.
Bet you $100." And I am way more on challenges than I am on addiction. Like, I will take on a challenge. If you make a bet with me about something, like, I'm very competitive.
So am I. If you tell me I can't do something, I'll do it twice and take pictures.
And my mom hates this phrase, but I've used it my entire life. Bitch, I'll trip my mama to win.
Oh, my mom knows I will.
Mom.
And
if you were in my way, I will say I'm sorry later, but I'm going to trip you on the way over.
yeah.
A guy that I dated, I was like, I don't even remember how we got together. Like, because we were like really good friends, and then we kind of like started seeing each other and that. And I was like, where did it change? And he went, pfft. He said, I wanted to go out with you, and I told you I wouldn't kiss you if you tried. Game on. I was like, I don't remember that, but that is probably true.
See?
Makes sense.
See? You said I'll trip my mama to win. And I said, "Ooh, me too." And she just said, "But payback is a bitch."
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
she is very paybacky, and she
Yeah.
is not easily knocked over.
She's like, and the next time I'll trip you on purpose.
Oh, and she's scary. I'm still scared of her.
I'm scared of
she
my
is-
mom.
Yeah, she's terrifying. She'll say something. And she's like, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry."
All my friends were scared of my mom. And the girl who lived with me for a little while, like when everything was going down and I had put the eviction notice on her door, all that, my mom was at my house. I was outside and she come out and she said something to my mom. And like, she decided to be nice before she moved out. And she was like, by the way, your mom, and I wasn't really nice, but she did say, she was like, your mom is as mean as you said she was. She scared me. And I was like,
See, my mom's so nice. She can
Yeah.
be really nice.
you don't want to make her mad.
You don't want to make her mad. So here's a story. Here's a funny story. So when we were getting married, we got married at, I forget what it's called, but it's like the Navy Retired Association building something, or it was like a VFW type thing. My wedding was actually really cool. Like, it was all budgeted and we got deals on literally everything. It was like the cheapest, bestest wedding ever. It was awesome. But we had gone to check out the venue. And okay, so more backstory. When my mom gets mad, she gets really quiet and she starts to slow down, and it gets very, very scary.
Very uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
almost
Tension.
scarier than the person who just lets it out.
Oh, it's
Like,
terrifying.
Are
She's
they
done it
planning
whole
my
life.
murder?
Right? Yeah. So she would get very, very quiet. But then we went to go check out the venue, like, the week or month before, whatever. And some lady was holding Avon thing, I don't know,
Okay.
something or other. And we walked in. We were kind of hanging out in the front, waiting for the guy to show us around, show us, where we would be, where we would set up and everything. And this lady probably had like 3 people in there. And she came in, what are you doing here? You're interrupting my product. You're interrupting my show. You're here. You're bothering us. Leave me alone. Get away. You can't be in here. This is my time. I rented it, and this is my time to be in here. And my mom's like, look. And just the way she
You've
said
got
it,
3 people.
Yeah.
Go fucking back to your 2 friends.
right? She said something. She said, just the way she said, look. And I grabbed my husband and I said, all right, back up. Watch this. This is funny. And I can't remember. She says it so much better. But she said, look, honey, we are not here for your sad little show. We're not here for your sad little presentation. We are here to check out a venue for next month. We're not even staying. So you can go back to your little table, do your little thing. She did it so much better. I'm not even giving it the respect it
Just
needs.
the little bit you did is impressive.
I was like, yeah, and she did that, and she never raised her voice.
Go back to your little pathetic life over there.
She never swore. She didn't swear until I think we were out of the house. I mean, I never heard her swear, but
I can't say that about myself.
no. Oh, but now
my
my
mom
mom
was awful.
Oh no, my mom
Awful.
drops the F-bomb now. Like it's like she
My
said
mom-
that's right.
My mom is rare to cuss.
Yeah.
My mom does not swear.
Rare.
Oh,
Me. My
I'm-
mom does not swear. My mom I'm like, you know what? I am 54 years old. I use the F word. I come from now granted, I think I look at it a little different because I've worked in a men's world my entire career. Everything I've ever done was with men, and men tend to talk that way. And I tend to talk that way. And I'm like, and today in 2024, that word is really not so bad anymore. Like everybody says it so much
Yeah.
that it's kind of lost its
Desensitized.
yeah.
I mean,
Lost
it's
the
just an
effect of it.
explanation point nowadays.
I mean, it kind of, it kind of is. I
Yeah.
mean, and you can use it in totally all different ways. It's like, oorah in the army.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh-ah, 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 ooh-ah. I mean, how you say it is what it
Exactly.
means. Ooh-ah.
Exactly.
Like, so the F word is kind of the same way. But I mean, it's the same thing with over the last, 6-8 years. You tell me I'm a racist and I'm going to be like, okay, because it doesn't mean anything anymore. We've
Yeah.
taken out the meat of
I
some of these
I
it
things.
talked
goes-
about that bar that I used to go to that you weren't allowed to say the F word in the bar.
Oh,
you,
that's
you
right.
would get thrown out.
But then you said after he closed the doors, it was
Yeah, well, but when he was throwing you out, whoever he threw out, it was GD. I told you not to GD say, and I don't like that word. I
don't like.
I
Yeah.
don't like GD. But you could say the F word, but he would GD. I told you not to GD say,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I would rather hear what they said.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really do not like. I'm probably a very hypocritical Christian. I don't really go to church. I would love to find a church I would like, but I find them all hypocritical almost every time.
I have a problem with a lot of big
A lot of
problem with
organized
religion.
religions. We used to go to church back in Reno, and when my dad died, I went to talk to somebody at my church and told them I was having a really hard time with my dad's death. I needed somebody to help me understand and help
the
me deal
closure.
with it and closure and all that. And luckily, I mean, I had a lot of the good things because I spent the last 6 weeks with my dad. When he went home on hospice, he only lived another like 6-7 days. But I moved into their house. I stayed with him the whole time. Any issues that I felt like we had,
Your son is vile and it's awesome.
Uh-oh.
The see you next Tuesday word is his favorite.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes. I just read that. I just learned that, like, not today learned that, but like this month learned that.
Sorry, that just popped up and I was like,
Well,
See you next
well,
Tuesday.
Well, I have a lot of British friends, and I grew up in Europe, so that word doesn't mean crap to me.
Right.
Like it's twat. See you next Tuesday. I'll just say that instead. But those words don't bug me. I think what bugs me more when people are saying things is their tone.
true.
How you say it to me means more than what you actually said.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a big thing with the boys about that. Like my middle son is all about the sarcasm. I'll say, "Can you go get me something?" He's like, "No." But he'll go do it, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, "Honey, you're doing the wrong tone. Like it's what was it? You're talking to my boy and all the wrong tone.
Well, yeah,
Do it again
yeah.
and I'll stab you." Or
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
it from Joe Dirt?
Yeah, I can't fully remember, but yeah.
Talking to my
That's a
boy.
throwback.
It is,
That is
right?
a throwback.
Yeah.
I got the poo on me.
I've actually seen that one.
That is a funny movie.
That's
It is
a
a
funny
funny
movie.
But yeah, if it is all tone, and we have tried to tell the boys that, you know, if you are trying to say something and it's great. My middle son has one tone, and it's this. This is it.
Monotone.
It's very no, or I'm trying to be sarcastic.
Is
but
he
I'm
kind of monotone?
my
Because
oldest?
there
is-
are people like that they just don't have a fluctuation.
No, he's not, but he's got a lot of background, so there's a lot of history, mental, emotional. He's a whole story on his own. We could talk about
Aren't
that
we
another
all?
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like we were talking about the ADHD that one day, and he's ADHD, ODD, PTSD. He's biologically my sister's son, but we've had him for
That's right. I remember you saying that.
yeah, we've had him since he was 5.
Yeah.
And he's 16. So, you know, he's ours. There's never been any doubt about that. But he's, you know, all this emotional baggage that he doesn't really remember, but it still affects him.
It's still there.
Well,
It
and,
is
and
still
that,
there.
that
I mean,
he's-
our subconscious
It is.
still is
Our
very
sub-
our
powerful.
So he
subconscious
has a
still
hard
holds on
time.
to those things.
yeah.
You know, like
he has
you-
a hard time with the emotions and the fluctuations and the tones. And if he'll say, like, I'll say, "Hey, can you go switch your laundry?" He'll say, "No." And I'm like, that was kind of a shitty answer. And he's like, "Oh, I was joking." I was like, "Yeah, but then you're like, no." You know, you have to be like, "No, Mom."
Yeah.
And then go do it. So, you know, you have to like change it.
Well,
Like, you have
and,
to work on that tone.
we hold on to things because, especially if you have any kind of trauma with the two main people that were supposed to be your protectors, your teachers, your everything as a kid, and they hurt you, you forever, you can be 60 years old and
yeah.
that inner child that just wants their mommy or just wants their daddy is still there.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And it affects all relationships you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to.
Single girl.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say this without her permission. But my mom was abused by her stepdad, and she kind of went the other way. Like she completely went. You know, she didn't let it. She let it affect her, but she went that way of I'm never ever gonna let anybody treat me like that again. I'm never ever gonna let him near my kids. I'm never ever gonna let him, you know, watch my kids, be alone with my kids. None of it. And she went that whole way.
Yeah,
and
me
then-
too.
Yes. And so it was what happened to her. She said that will never, ever
I think
ever again
I think-
to anybody that I love.
I think for people who have a automatic tendency to be an alpha female, we tend to go that route. I become a victor. I'm empowered now, and I'm empowered to not only protect my family and my circle, but I'm now empowered to protect you and yours and you and yours
Exactly.
and you and yours and you and you. I want to protect everybody. Now I know I can't, and I know I can't influence everyone.
Right.
But if you can influence the one person you may not have been able to get to
Yes.
by showing that it's scary to walk away. It's scary to leave. It's
Yes.
scary to take that unknown move of protection.
Yes.
And-
But you don't know what's going to happen,
But
when it's going to happen.
what's going to come out on the other side is going to be so much better than what you're going through
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely.
But you just have to, and it literally is like standing on a cliff, looking down, and it's not like you can see the ground underneath. You can see the grass and
You
the
can
and
see
and the
it.
water.
It's just a hard
No,
jump.
it's black. It's
Yeah.
black, and you just have to trust
that it's soft landing
that something underneath there is going to be a soft landing, or at least,
or you're
at
very
least-
bitter. You see other people have it, and you're very bitter at them.
Oh, yeah.
You do not think that other side of the fence is attainable for you
Mm-hmm.
ever. Yeah.
See, yep. And my mom, she said, an abusive stepfather and a narcissistic mother made me who I am today. And my grandma was extremely narcissistic forever, as long as I can remember. And even as an adult, it was very hard to talk to her. She would complain, why don't you call me? Why don't you visit me? Because every time I do, it's about you. And no matter what I say, it always comes back to you. It always goes back. It's always,
Well, it's like,
I'm the
yeah.
victim. I'm the one that's being
It
shunned.
certainly
I'm the
doesn't
one. It's
bring-
me. And then
Yeah, and
I
it
can't-
certainly
nobody wants
doesn't
to be
bring
around that.
someone to say, "Oh, I can't wait to go see that
Right?
person."
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly,
like I
that's
loved my grandmother.
Yeah.
I really did. She was a very strong, very powerful woman, but she was mean. She was hurtful, and she was not nice to even my mom. But at the same time, she would do some things that would be like, "Wow." But like, I hadn't seen my grandmother in several years. And I hadn't seen her since I got married. Now at this point I had 2 kids, and yes, of course I gained some weight. I had some major issues with having children. And I hadn't seen her in years. My kids were like 3 and 4, somewhere around there. And the very first thing she said when I walked up to her to give her a hug and kiss and say hi was, "Wow, you're fat." And it wasn't.
Thanks.
Thanks.
It's good to see you too. I worked really hard on this. Thanks.
I've been eating chocolate daily trying to get this physique, you know.
Right?
Thanks. I
like,
did it myself.
But it's like, okay, that made me feel. And I was young, you know. I was only 19, 20 years old.
I have a fast story, too, when you're
I
done.
guess I was like 22 or something like that. But still, it's like, okay, thanks, you know. So you just
And that
one of
sticks
those, you
with
have
you.
no idea what to
it sticks
say.
with
You
you.
can't say it.
It's very
how do
Your
you-
mind
hard.
is blown. You're like, what do I say now?
thanks.
Right. So I have my fat story is my sister. I've shunned her from the family because she's a piece of shit, and she can see this and she can say whatever. Again, she's a whole nother story, but she has disappeared from the family. She doesn't.
Is that a
communicate with-
see you on next Tuesday story?
Yes. Yes. She, the only person she calls now is my mom. And it's been better recently, but not really. But it used to be, I need money. I need money. I need
Yeah.
money. When we were at my dad's memorial, we had all taken a picture. I don't even know if she knew my dad had passed at that point, but we took a picture of all of us, our 5, my brother and my mom. And the first thing she said on the picture was, "Wow, they got fat." Not, "Hey, I'm sorry I couldn't make it for Dad's funeral. I'm sorry. I'm sad he's gone. I miss him. Are you okay? Do you need me? Do you need any?" No. Wow, they got fat.
Nice.
Nice.
Well,
How
no,
rude.
meth can't do everything for everybody.
I actually, my friend,
That's a
Bethany?
great. I mean, that's a great diet plan.
It's a great diet plan.
There's keto. There's
Atkins.
There's Atkins.
I need the meth diet
then
without the
there's
bean
Maggie.
side effects.
so I've hung out at a lot of bars in my life. Some of them necessarily have not been the best. The friend that I was talking about that got on another drug after I dug her out, whatever. Before, I knew she was
Is this methany?
methany. Yes, yes. But I didn't really I knew she was doing some drugs. I didn't realize she was on meth. But I knew because of the ex-husband. She had, cocaine. She liked some cocaine, whatever. We were at a bar one night and had went into the bathroom and came out, and this girl come out screaming at me that I had stole her cocaine. Stephanie was standing beside me, and my word to this girl was, "Really? You're gonna accuse the fat chick of that when she's standing next to me?"
Do I look like I do cocaine?
Stephanie will tell that story. Stephanie will tell that story every
Have
day
you
of her
seen
life.
my
I'm
muffin
like,
top
really?
here? Come on
You
now.
think the fat chick did that? Like,
This is not where I hide my cocaine.
When I was in high school, my senior year of high school, I was a telemarketer.
Woo!
And I also worked at a restaurant on
I
the
probably
weekends.
hung up on you.
Yeah.
I try to tell them to have I'm sorry, you are disturbing me, but please have a very nice day.
Have
Well,
the day
I
you
did the
deserve.
telemarketing every day after school, and then I worked at a restaurant on the weekends, and I was still going to high school. So I kind of was so busy that I dropped a lot of weight really fast. So I went from being like, I don't know, a size 12, which was my normal size, down to like a size 2.
Wow. Okay.
Gee.
It was a
Jeez.
lot. It was very dramatic.
But, stress and work and moving and not
But I
sitting
never
down.
stopped doing anything because I was school, work, wake up, school, work, and then work on the weekends.
Right.
But anyhow, so I have horrible feet, and I file my feet, and I had the powder from filing my feet, like the dead skin. I always did it over a piece of paper or something, so it
So
didn't
then
get in
you
the
could
carpet.
yeah, okay.
And I had it on my nightstand, and I had gone to bed. I had filed my feet before bed. Well, the next day, I guess I left it there, and I had brushed my teeth, and my stepmom thought I was gagging myself and making myself throw up when I was brushing my tongue. And I was like, no. So they thought I had an eating disorder. Well, then they seen this white powder, and my dad literally took it to the doctor to have it tested because he thought I was on drugs.
He's like,
They were like, it's dead
I was
skin.
doing
snorting it
cocaine.
and left it on the bedside table.
She's
and
snorting
it was just my
foot.
skin.
it was just your skin. That's great.
But since I had dropped so much weight so fast, they thought I
Yeah.
was on drugs, and that's what it was.
so how do you snort foot powder?
Is this a diet recommendation?
How do you snort? Well, if you snort foot sand, I don't know what else to call it. Foot skin sand. If you snort that, you won't eat.
No, because you'll be vomiting.
You'll be throwing up.
I will say, so these used to not come in this cute little pack, my goody powders. They used
to
to
say,
come
clarify what
folded.
that
It was
is.
folded up, like kind of like this. The bottom of my purse, you would have sworn I was an addict because they would spill out, and the bottom.
Because they rip.
Well,
Well,
wait, hold on a minute. You have admitted that you are an addict.
I am an addict of goody powders.
Goody powder.
To
Yes.
goody powder.
I am, but you would have thought it was some cocaine or some powdery something besides
Some other
yeah.
substance at the bottom of the
I am a
purse.
goody powder addict. But now they put them in they don't put as. But I will say, the addict knows they do not put as much powder in these as they used to the little fold up ones.
Yeah, you're cheating me, man.
Yeah, they are. They are cheating me since they
Don't
have
you
started
hide my
those.
goody powder. I'll get you.
I know there's less in this packet than there is my old ones. Yeah.
Well, there was a day, and you can see it on. Have you guys watched the show Ghost?
I haven't seen all of it,
Ghosts?
but I like it when I
don't
catch it
wait,
on.
the one with the hotel?
Yes.
Yeah. I love catching it on. I just forget when it
The
comes on.
Airbnb.
Yes.
I love that show.
I'm not caught up, so don't spoil.
And I'm not going to spoil, but the matriarch of the house.
Yes.
She's like, well, I don't know. We just have a little cocaine.
Yeah. She would
We
do
just
that
use
because
cocaine to
Because
fix that.
she's from the era that was actually
It was
good for
okay,
you.
right.
And it was in
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Right?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Just give me a little cocaine.
Okay.
And
Little
everything
cocaine,
will
we
be
can get
fine.
through it. It'll
That
be
show
fine.
is so funny.
It is.
What night does it come on? Because I need to go back and find it and watch all the reruns.
I think it's Thursday or Friday night.
I want to say Thursdays.
I want to say Thursdays.
Yeah.
But
we have to catch up on
I mean,
it.
I have to catch up on what's current.
Yeah.
But I've watched all the episodes up to
Yeah,
then.
I think
Now-
when they took their break or whatever, and then they started, I don't know if it was a new season or what,
Mm-hmm.
but that's where
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to catch up
Well,
with.
I don't know if any of you have watched the.
My mom says Thursday nights on CBS.
Thanks,
Okay.
Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Mom likes that show. Or is she our lookup person?
Yeah.
She might
Since
be.
she's watching, can she Google these things?
Yeah, she can. All right.
You are now.
Mom, you got a job.
Our,
Hold on, let me-
our research person.
Let me text her.
So-
You're the research person.
So if I watched Ghost
Oh, so it comes on tonight.
because I liked it.
Friday.
Today's Friday.
Well, we
Today's
just
Thursday.
watch. We
Today's
stream
Friday.
it. We'll just binge watch
yeah, I'll
it.
just watch
Yeah.
the next one. But I did go and watch Ghost UK.
I didn't like it as much.
I did not like it. I love British humor. I didn't find it funny.
I didn't either.
I found it stupid.
I never
Normally,
got. I never
British
watched
humor is
it.
a little bit more dry.
It
And that's
is.
cool, but this was just
This
dumb.
was just dumb.
It wasn't?
It was
Oh, I don't
not.
even wanna
I don't
watch
even
it.
know anything
it was
about that
not
one.
funny, and the fact that the lady who was pushed out a window or threw herself out the window, killed herself out. Somehow she died going out the window on that program. And I don't know if Ghost UK came first.
I think so.
Because like Office came first in the UK and then it came to the US
Yeah.
and it really kicked in the US. But I think Ghost UK did start there
Yeah,
and
I
it
think
just there's not more than one season. It was one season only.
Oh, she said, "I just know everything."
That's
love
why,
that.
Mom
that's why
too.
you're now our research lady.
She does.
Yes.
She does know everything.
But the sense of humor
she'll
was
be here
just-
next week, by the way.
Oh, then she has to come on the show.
Yeah.
But again, the show was like
She says,
it
"Ghost
wasn't
UK
funny.
was first. It was first."
Okay, and
Love her.
so the lady would jump out the window, but on that show they like reenacted their deaths every day. Like it was part of their
Thing.
every morning she threw herself out the window, whether she wanted to or not. And they even got to a point where they're like, we're going to move her to a ground floor so that she can't jump out the window. And then she went up the stairs while they were sleeping and she threw herself. And it was a scream every day. So they knew it was morning because she screamed and it was time to
Wake up call.
I don't want to see that every day.
No, it was, and it was actually not
Yeah.
funny. And I love British humor. They did not have good British actors.
No.
They were ugly as hell.
Yeah,
And
that showed.
instead of the
do it
Viking
for
like
me.
they have on Argos, they had a Neanderthal.
I like the hippie girl.
And-
She
and I'm
cracks
thinking
me
to
up.
myself-
Flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're a ghost, and like all these new ghosts come as they die in time,
You haven't learned.
and you haven't learned how to speak until the hotel lady can talk to you.
I don't get
Yeah.
it.
Like that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's like on Ghost when they're like, you know how to Google, you know how to define that, but you still call it a land car or land ship.
A land ship.
And I'm like, he obviously just likes calling it a land ship,
Right.
Yeah.
He's
but
funny.
he's learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's his word. Like, if
Yeah.
you've got a word for something,
Oh my
stick with
God,
Oh, yeah.
he was in NCIS.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you
I
ever
haven't watched
I've
them.
seen it.
I
just
did in
not
the very beginning,
Yes. I haven't
Oh,
seen
we,
it in
we love
ages.
NCIS. So obviously, since I used to have a rabbit named Abby, I had
love
a.
Abby.
I only
They're
liked
my
the New
favorite.
Orleans one, and then when Lucas Black left, I don't like it anymore.
My
When they started branching out.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm good.
My three rabbits that died was Abby and Denozo and David.
Denozo did Bull.
Yeah.
That I
It was
liked.
okay. It was a pretty
really
good
liked
show,
Bull.
but I couldn't see him outside because I watched NCIS
Yeah.
for so long. I couldn't see him outside of being Denozo.
Didn't he leave Bull to come back to NCIS? And it's like him
I
and
think
Ziva.
so. Ziva.
Ziva. Yeah, we're doing
because
a
my
show.
rabbits
She
were
said
called
it.
Ziva. Thank you. And
Thanks, Mom. Yeah.
And our
Nana.
dog,
She's a Nana.
Nana. Thanks,
Nana.
Nana.
my mom's Nana too.
Yeah.
And our dog's name is Leroy Jethro Gibbs. That's his full name is Leroy Jethro Gibbs.
Yeah.
Now my dog is named after one of my favorite characters from a book series that I watch. I think the first one is like first grave on the right, second grave dead ahead, third grave to the left or something like that. It's called the Grave series. She's the Grim Reaper.
Oh.
I love her.
Okay.
Okay.
But her name is Charlotte the Grim Reaper Davison. And they call her Charlie. So my dog is Charlotte the Grim Reaper. And I call her Charlie.
Charlie. Gotcha.
You know what's a funny show? And we watched it. We binged it real hard. Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Oh,
You guys
God.
are
I've
watching-
never watched that one, but I hear it's great.
You have got to
Oh
binge
my
it.
God,
I
that
love
is
it
hilarious.
so much.
Oh, that was such
That's
a
hilarious.
funny show. And
Eat class.
when I first put it on, I
Oh
thought this is going to be so dumb.
Yeah. Ooh,
You know-
look what I discovered yesterday.
Yeah, she discovered she can
I was so
sit back and
excited.
chill.
Hey, I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be really dumb.
I was
Facial
afraid.
expressions got me.
And
Yes,
then it
and
was,
Moira and her wigs.
and I mean from
Get the wigs. Get my girls. Don't forget my girls. Get my girls. My girls.
and I mean from episode 1, it was like I'm in.
yes.
I am in.
I'll
Yes.
have to watch
100%.
that. I have
am in.
wintertime. I can watch it.
Yes.
If I can find it on something.
It's Prime Hulu. I think it's on Hulu.
I think it's on Hulu.
I'm gonna
I
say
don't
Hulu.
have Hulu. I've got
Nana,
Prime.
what's
Oh yeah, Nana,
Yeah.
look it up.
Yeah.
What do we got? Schitt's Creek on. What can we stream it on?
I think I have Paramount Plus and I have Prime.
It might be on Paramount, Peacock. I don't remember.
My mom
It's
has
on one of
Peacock. I
them.
can
It's
log
on
in
something.
her Peacock.
It's on something.
My mom
Something,
has
I don't know.
Peacock because she's not going to miss Days of Our Lives.
Oh.
Ooh,
My mom has watched Days of Our Lives since before I was born. Tapes it every single day. Records it so she can watch it, fast forward through the commercials,
Prime.
you know, that kind of thing.
she said Prime.
And then, okay, I got Prime. And like even, so they owned a house in Florida. They had a condo down there in Florida and a house here. The house in Florida also taped it every day. Like they had it set like to tape it every day for, you know, because when they were driving down, it was 12 hours. So she couldn't miss it that day.
Oh, of course not.
Like, but and actually Greta was a character. Greta's been a character on Days of Our Lives twice, but she was a character on Days of Our Lives before I was born. That is where my name comes from.
Oh,
Oh, you were named from a
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives. Okay.
She had also heard Greta Garbo
Yeah.
and liked Greta Garbo, but in reality, it was the girl in Days of Our Lives that I'm named after.
My
My
daughter
mom was
Hennessy
a-
is named after Jill Hennessy, who is an actress from Crossing Jordan and Law and Order. And
Okay.
She's Canadian.
Okay.
And everybody thinks she's named after the alcohol.
Alcohol, I mean-
and I didn't even know that there was an alcohol,
Alcohol named
Hennessy
after.
is
until
really
I was like
good.
8 months pregnant.
I like Hennessy.
Tori,
It's
you were
really
talking
good.
about like thinking my name's Southern. Greta is a very common dog name.
It is a very common dog.
Very
Is it?
common. Like I cannot tell you the people I have met in life that go, "I had
That's
a
her
dog
last
named
name.
Greta."
So
Wait, this gets
comparing me
better.
to a
I had a
dog.
professor in college that had a dog named Greta. This was a class that we did like
gee,
trips.
thanks.
We did you know, like we would go out and we would go out. Remember, I was an ag major, so we would go to farms and stuff and you know, like actually labs kind of outside of the class. So he had to check roll those days because he had to know that everybody went and everybody came back. When he got to my name, he barked.
Stop it.
Not kidding you.
That's
I'd
so.
have slapped him.
Yeah.
That is mean.
Are you fucking kidding
I loved
me?
Doc Robbie. I didn't. It was kind of embarrassing to me because like everybody would then bark, but I didn't hate Doc Robbie for it because it was just his personality. He was just a big cut up, and he knew, and I knew he had the dog named that, and I was always like, "I'm here, Doc Robbie." Yes, you know.
Over here.
But he didn't mean it mean. The kids in the class meant it mean. He didn't mean it mean.
So
Yeah.
I have a funny story about bullying, because that kind of sort of is a
Yeah.
little bit bullying. So I had a kid at school. I think I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, and he was always so mean to me. Called me Tori the Tidy Bowl Man. That I lived in the toilet.
Yeah. Do. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
Difficulties.
Oh, we're back. There we go.
Facebook has
It's
There
also
we go.
11:11. Everybody make a wish.
Oh, okay.
All right, I think we're good. Okay.
Yay!
Yeah, that was weird.
So we were talking bullying.
So anyway, this kid would call me names. I did have buck teeth, like I could put my hand in my mouth with my mouth shut.
Neat.
Had years of having to wear braces later, and the whole retainer, the whole headgear to pull my teeth back. Had to have several teeth removed in order to get my teeth to go back where they're supposed to be because I
Right,
had too
right.
many teeth in my mouth or something.
Mine didn't. My mouth is so small I didn't have room. So when I've
Yeah.
lost these teeth, they had to pull these for these to have room, and then I had to wear I didn't have a headgear. I had
Like
I
a
had
spacer?
springs. No, so my braces were only on like these teeth, and then there was a spring all the way to the back tooth.
to stretch them out. Well, so he always called me names and he was mean and he would bark at me. If I said anything, he would bark at me. And he'd say, "Oh, you're a good girl," and just all the horrible. And it was really hard on my self-esteem. And I went home and my grandmother was living with us at the time. And I went home and I was really upset. And I mean, this is where like my grandma was always kind of mean but then she had those moments where she was just really helpful. And so I was really upset and I was crying and I was all butthurt that he was so mean to me, especially because I had a huge crush on him.
Of course.
So it made it even worse because
Yeah,
he
that's
was
always the worst.
He was the boy I had the crush on. And he was the meanest at me. And so she's like, you just have to ignore it. You just have to ignore it, or give it back or something. And I didn't know how to give it back. And I couldn't ignore it because it hurt my feelings so
Yeah.
much and stuff. So I
And
went
at a young age, you don't realize that they're doing it for attention or to
Right,
get a
right.
reaction out of you. And if you ignore it, they stop because it's not bothering you anymore.
It's worse.
And it's so hard when
doesn't-
you're younger.
Doesn't get what they wanted out of it.
Yeah.
So they just move on to somebody else.
But when you wear your feelings on your sleeve, you can't ignore it.
Yeah,
Like,
Exactly.
So the next day, my grandma usually made our lunches for school. So the next day I went to school and in my lunch bag, there was a bag of dog treats with a note from my grandma that said, "When a dog barks, give him what he's asking for."
Good job.
So
good
we
job.
were in the gym and Shelby was barking at me. Woof, woof. So I took a treat out of my pocket and I tossed it across the gym floor.
There you go, buddy.
And I said, "Who's a good boy?" And I threw him a treat and he picked it up and he was in 1 or 2 grades ahead of me. And he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And I said, "Well, usually when a dog barks for a treat, they get a treat, they're happy." And I said, "Now wiggle your butt."
Let's see that tail shake.
Let's see your tail shake. So because he picked it up and took the treat, everyone around him was like, good boy, Shelby. And everyone started barking at him. And it wasn't at me. And then the next day and the next day and the next day until the teacher had to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
Every day we would walk into the classroom, there were nothing but dog treats on his desk. Like his desk was covered with dog treats. Everybody was bringing him in dog
There you
treats.
go.
And
Because you probably
He's
weren't the
such
only
a
one he
good
was being mean
boy.
to.
no, I was
Yeah.
definitely not the.
Yeah.
But part of it was, it's one of those karma things. You think about. So, his family were extremely wealthy. And they liked to shove it in everybody's face about how
That's
much money
good.
they had. They would ride in a limo to school. Like they were so full of money. Well,
Why are people stupid?
what do they call it when you get deflated? Psh. Well, when his dad went to prison for embezzlement and laundering money,
Yeah.
kind of deflated their whole "we're everything" and your guys are nothing. Because at least we're not going to prison, you piece of shit. But anyway, everybody started putting dog treats on his desk till the teacher said, "Enough with the dog biscuits."
Yeah, we're done with that.
I see one more dog biscuit come in this class and you're all going to
done.
detention or whatever.
Yeah.
But he never, ever, not only did he never bark at me again, he never called me a name again. He never teased me again. And the worst part is every time we went to church, because I went to a Christian school and it was part of our church. Every time I went to church, which made this even harder from the time before he teased me, every single time his dad, I loved his dad. Sad that he went to prison or whatever for the embezzlement and stuff, but I loved his dad, Norman. And every single time I saw Norman, he'd be like, "So is that the dress you're going to wear to the wedding to marry my son?" And he didn't know I had an ultimate crush on his
him.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did. I had the hugest crush. So, of course, I go and I'd either run and go hide in the bathroom and I'd be crying because I liked him so much that it was like, yes, I want to wear this dress to my wedding to marry your son. But your son is so mean to me. And I'd cry until I could get it all out and then go into church and sing.
I had a girl who didn't like me in high school. I to this day I still don't know, like, jealousy or what, but she would wait until I was cheering she called me all the time. She would call in the middle of the night and just like dog cuss me, and like I could unplug my phone. I had my mother ran a business out of our house, so I had my own telephone line.
Ooh, I had one of those as a
And
teenager. I felt so bad.
so I could unplug my phone, go to sleep, wake up hours later, plug it back in, and it would immediately ring, her cussing me out. But in public, she would wait until I was cheering, and she would stand in front of me while I was cheering, dog cussing me, knowing that I couldn't do anything because I would have gotten trouble.
Right.
I would have got kicked off the squad.
Right.
And
Right.
and
And you just have to take it.
I had to stand there and take it.
Oh, I really can't stand people like
Yeah.
that. They are the worst.
like
somebody should have like tackled her ass.
And no one ever did. Like, I just took it, like I just stood there.
No one
and-
ever said
I
anything to
just-
her. Like,
No,
everybody heard
well,
it.
now it did. Somebody did tell my cheerleading sponsor. She called us into like a meeting together. She denied it. Like,
we can all see you.
there was
We all
no
see you
video. There was
doing
no.
it.
Of course, this was
There's no
1980. There was no video like nowadays.
Nowadays,
somebody
you-
could. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
How many videos
Yeah.
do we have of you doing that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 3
Oddly-
phones and they all have the same thing. Pretty sure you did it.
Oddly, now she walks around with her head so high in the air, acting like a true Christian that she would drown.
If it
Like,
rained.
Yes, like she acts like she is just the best human in the world, and I'm like, you probably owe me an apology if you really want to. Like,
if you're
Well,
going
that,
there.
that,
Yeah.
that brings me back to the religion thing. That's why I love the socialization part of it. I love the music. I love the congregation and getting together with other people. And I love God, and I am a Christian, and I try very hard to live by the good book. I don't judge people, all those things, but there's always that hypocritical side of it. I know a few people that they will hold prayer things on online. Everybody come, we'll do a prayer night or whatever. Tell us what you want to pray for. But they're so two-faced, and it because of the way they really act. And you're all high and mighty because you're a Christian and you go to church, but I know what the crap you've really done or said.
What you do on every day but Sunday.
well, and you're judging. You're probably judging me for something.
Yeah.
Like,
or you're
yeah.
treating me in a way that does not, in my opinion,
Yeah.
fit with what God's word says to do. Like, God says to treat people the way that you want to be treated. Treat thy neighbor as thyself. And it's also the reason, like, I get into these debates with people who want to judge if you're gay or do this or I'm like, well, in the Bible it says they're made in my image. So I don't think anybody was made by mistake. They just, something is different about each one of us. And I leave that up to, like it says in the Bible, God is the
ye
judge.
not, yet ye be judged.
Exactly. God is the judge, not me. So what I'm going to do is treat you kind and treat you nice today, and I'll let God deal with it later.
Yep.
You know, I feel the same way about the
Karma.
abortion thing. I don't like it. I think it's horrible. I think it's disgusting. I like that it's back to the states. It's not my place to tell you what you should or should not do, but I would hope that you would think it through and realize that, you know, I don't remember who was on the show, but it was, I think it was some either Middle Eastern or he was black. I can't remember, but I think he was on The View with them. And
Ooh, be careful talking about the View.
yeah, I know, right? But in her higher than almighty self, Whoopi says, well, that's not on the 10 Commandments, that shall not have an abortion. And he's like, yeah,
Thou
it kind
shalt not
of,
kill.
he
Thou
goes,
Shall
it-
not murder.
he
Yeah,
goes,
thou
it
shalt
is
not kill.
kind of on the 10 Commandments right here where it says thou shalt not kill. And man, her facial expression sure changed.
Because she couldn't
'Cause-
fight that.
That's still killing. And if you can justify it in your head saying, well, that's not killing, that's between you and God, but it's killing. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's my hardest part about it is the hypocrisy. You know,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and you find it everywhere.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like, I was raised in a church that has a loving God. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'll get invited to churches and they're hellfire and brimstone, and I'll just sit there going,
Ew.
I feel like you're going to hell for telling me I'm going to hell. You know, like,
Well, and I don't like the fakeness of it.
Yeah.
They act a certain way on stage and
Yeah.
they act a certain way in front of the people. Like I said, when my dad passed away, I was having a really hard time and I went and talked to somebody needing guidance, needing a little help. And you know, we sat in the front of the church. We hung out with the main people of the church. Do you know who called us? Nothing.
None.
Not one person called me to check
No.
on me, see how I was doing,
Right.
see if I needed somebody to come over and sit down with me and pray with me. Nobody called.
I have
Nobody said a single, and we never went back.
my
We were
best
like-
friend's son is grown now, but when he was young, he went to like a church camp, like it's like a few days, you know, it's church camp or whatever. They played a game, like they were supposed to play it as a group, and like they were. And whatever, like the devil was going to get you, you know, you had to, like, it was kind of, I guess, like an escape room kind of game, you know, or whatever. She had to go get.
You're going to hell, bro.
Pretty much. I mean, like, it, you know, that's kind of like the way it was, you know, like you had to play this game to make sure the devil didn't get you. She had to go get him because he was traumatized because he said, my friends won't play, they won't play right. I'm the only one doing it and I'm going to go to hell for it. Like, traumatized this
Well, yeah,
child.
I did see a lot of people in that the families of the main people of a church and the kids who've always gone, they're the biggest bullies. They're so freaking mean. You know, they're so freaking mean, and it's like, why are you so mean? You know, haven't your parents been teaching you how to be a Christian, how to be decent? And they're like, they're higher than Almighty because they're, you know, part of the church, and they're like, oh, I can do no wrong, and they're the
Yeah.
biggest mean people. And if you ever
would
want to
love
know
to-
where to get drugs, go to the ones that have the parents or the pastors.
Yeah,
Quite
exactly.
often they're the ones with the dope.
Stephanie that we talked about. Stephanie, if you're watching, you know I
Methany.
love you, but Stephanie can quote you every Bible verse of the Bible. I mean, like she is like, but you know, I don't specifically say don't do meth, but as I told her once, why you want to do things that's made with skull and crossbones? Like,
Well,
I don't understand.
yeah,
It's
why
got
would-
skull and crossbones on the ingredients.
Why would you do anything that if all the ingredients separately, one would kill you?
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to do when they're
Be
mixed all together?
Right.
They still not going to kill you? Yeah, they will.
Before my mom passed, like just days before she passed, she told my husband to get us to church. So I guess whenever she passed is when we first started going to church, and it just so happened to be the preacher that we went to was also the preacher that had been at her church since they move around with being Methodist.
Yeah.
So he knew my mom and he knew her whole
Background story.
backstory, which was kind of cool.
That's kinda
And
cool.
Him and his wife kind of like adopted my little family.
That was a God incident.
Yeah, which was
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty awesome. And our Sunday school church, like our class rather, is amazing. When the house burned down,
Yeah.
everybody, the entire church came out to us. They came to the house. They prayed. People from the church actually were the ones that let me get in the tractor or bucket, whatever it's called, and start tearing down the house myself.
Right, because it gives
Yeah.
you that closure where
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
I'm taking the rest of this down.
Yep.
I would love to,
it's been-
to
Now, did
find
you-
a church.
Now your new house that
But-
you rebuilt, did you rebuild it in the same place?
The house that burned was in the front, really close to the road, and we built in the back.
I was gonna say, because when I was telling my husband, this is the one that had the house burned down. He's like, oh my God. So when we were on our way to take Murphy over to you, he's like, no, the house was like close to the road. So they must have built in. I said, no, I'm pretty sure I'm like, they're not in the burnt down house, honey.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
We built in the back, so
It gives you a little more space away from the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I love about our house being so it's on the highway, but we're so far back.
you don't hear
Like-
the
Yeah.
noise. You don't have
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear it, but it's
it's
so
not
much less
overwhelming.
than if you were like I see the houses that are right on the road, and I'm like, ugh, I wouldn't
Yeah,
want to.
ours was like
No.
you
Yours
row
was.
something,
And then
from the
especially if
front
you have
door
young
and
children,
easily hit
that's
the road.
very dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dogs and
There was an accident in front of our house where a person came up over the hill, like coming from Florence into Athens, and they came up over the hill and didn't see that the school bus was stopped and hit the school bus while my kids were getting on the school bus.
oh wow,
And then another car came through and I guess was blinded by whatever, the sun, the lights, I don't know. But almost hit that lady, so swerved and then came across into my neighbor's yard and was upside down.
oh wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I heard a big bang and like
And
I didn't even know what it was. I just ran outside and I was like, oh my
Good.
God, call 911.
Yeah.
It was insane.
yeah, and especially when your kids are getting on the bus, like
Yeah, don't do that.
That's a
Don't
little
do that.
scary. That's a little scary.
Oh, everybody from the bus got off the bus, of course, because it was an accident. And they're all piled up in my living room because it's cold. And the principal from Blue Springs at the time, he came over, and the assistant principal from Blue Springs came over.
you're like, I've got tea.
We're just like, hey,
crumpets.
let's hang out until everybody decided if they were still going to go to school
Would
or if the kids
anybody
were
like
going
a
home.
cup of tea?
It was
1
Time,
minute.
ladies.
It's time.
All right. Well, that is our show. Hey, we did it.
We did.
did it.
We did
started
it.
a
Yeah,
We
we
are
did
sorry,
it.
sorry
We got
we were a
through
little late. We will be on time on Monday.
We got
Yes.
through
Next
a whole
week's only
nother
4
week.
shows, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
Then we
Because
got
Thursday
Thanksgiving.
we have Thanksgiving.
Thursday, I think
So y'all
I
will
think I'm
miss
going to
us
be
on
missing
Thursday.
a few of those days. Maybe I'll have to double check. I don't remember.
you said something about that, but your mom's going to be here, so you just need to come over with your mom.
Yeah, just bring my. I mean,
we
we
just
could
need-
set her over there in a chair that she don't have to be on. Like,
Oh, she'll want to
But-
be
Or
on.
she
But-
can
Come on,
come
she
sit
can
right
come
here.
sit
yeah,
right
or,
here.
Come on,
I mean,
Nana.
or we can
Because
both.
I'm in Amanda's seat,
Yeah.
so she can
I'm-
sit with Amanda.
Yep.
Yeah.
She can share Amanda's mic.
That's right. That's
we
right.
got extra headsets.
Yep. We
Yeah.
can do that. We can figure it out.
We
Absolutely.
can figure it out.
Yep.
And we might. I was thinking about doing something so we have something that airs on Thursday. So we'll talk about that
We
as
can do
soon as
that.
we finish off here.
Okay.
So, all right.
All right.
Okay.
We will see you
Peace
on
out,
Monday.
everybody.
Have a great weekend.
Don't
Bye.
see you
Happy
next
Friday.
Tuesday.
Don't see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
She said, "Watch out, I may take over." She would. Too.
Oh,
I mean,
She
we
is-
will see you next
she's
Tuesday,
spicy.
but we are being literal, not the
Yeah.
Yeah.
To see you next
We,
Tuesday.
we will see you on Tuesday, not next Tuesday.
Right.
Exactly.
So, all right, we will see
everybody.
you later. Have a great weekend.
Bye.